Hi guys, if you know me at all, a guilty pleasure of mine is seeing the DUP have their arses handed to them, not just by Tory ministers, but by fellow Brexiteers. However, it looks like Steve Baker may have misled Parliament in response to a question put to him by the DUP in the House of Commons on Wednesday. Sammy Wilson from the DUP was complaining here about checks being carried out on goods moving from Northern Ireland to Great Britain. Now this is because from October, the UK will carry out checks on goods moving from the EU into Great Britain. But because Northern Ireland is still in the single market when it comes to goods and has access to goods coming from the Republic, GB ports have to carry out checks on all imports. Have a listen.
The GB border operating model, which has been recently published by DEFRA, indicates that by October this year there will be border checkpoints at Cairnryan, Liverpool and Holyhead. How is the Minister able to claim that there will be frictionless trade between Northern Ireland and GB when the government is actually proposing to put border control posts on our trade routes into our most important market?
Mr. Speaker, my honourable friend and I share many views in common, but I have to say to him as gently as possible, I think he's really referring to the red lane there. And I have to tell him, I think if we'd moved forward with the protocol bill, I would just say to him that would have implemented a red and a green lane, and the red lane would have required checkpoints. We have to engage seriously with the legitimate interests of Ireland and the European Union, and that means a solution of the form we've taken with the Windsor framework. I'm proud that the Prime Minister did a deal that people said couldn't be done and got progress from both sides.
Honestly, I think Steve Baker is confused here. I don't think he's intentionally misleading Parliament, but Steve Baker is talking about goods moving from Great Britain into Northern Ireland. Sammy Wilson is talking about goods moving from Northern Ireland into Great Britain. And from the 1st of October, I believe, full checks will be carried out on goods moving from the EU into Great Britain. Now, because Northern Ireland has a frictionless border with the Republic of Ireland, which is a member of the EU, it will mean that checks will have to be carried out in ports in Great Britain on goods moving into Great Britain. And of course, goods moving from Northern Ireland will have to be checked. Now, this is once again the Tories and Brexiteers lying to the DUP, because Boris Johnson and a number of Brexiteers have already told the DUP there will be no checks on goods moving from Great Britain into Northern Ireland. Sorry, from Northern Ireland into Great Britain. What Steve Baker is talking about here with the green lane and the red lane is to do with goods moving from Great Britain into Northern Ireland. And that's part of the Windsor framework. But what Sammy Wilson is talking about predates the Windsor framework. This is about goods moving from Northern Ireland into Great Britain. And they will be treated as goods moving from the EU into Great Britain. Sorry for the confusion. But this is about checks being carried out. Remember, last year, Jacob Rees-Mogg said we're not carrying out the checks because it'd be too expensive. Now the checks are going to be carried out. This is going to be disruptive. And it's going to be disruptive for trade between Northern Ireland and Great Britain. But this is a consequence of Brexit. It's a consequence of Great Britain being outside the single market, being a third country, and Northern Ireland remaining part of the single market when it comes to goods. So in a sense, the DUP are correct. They've been lied to once again. And it's interesting how the response from Brexiteers over this has been quite muted. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot.